Chest, triceps and shoulders are the muscles that I'm working in this workout. This is just a standard push day. Take bits and pieces of what I've done and put it in your own workout schedule and see how they work for you. So, starting out, I'm doing a dumbbell incline chest press. Now, first of all, sorry for the camera angle. I know it's not the best one. It's a little bit naff. You can kind of get a little bit of my shoes more than you get my actual movements and my range of motion. But there's two things that I want to speak about when it comes to chest press. So number one is make sure you're getting a deep stretch. If you watched the last video, you would have seen that I talk about this as well. But as opposed to the pull day exercises, when you want to be pulling it like away from you like this, with this one, the weight's going to be against you. So you want to go really deep, and then you want to push it away. Really deep, and then you want to push it away. So you'll notice that I do that in here. I'm not a perfect person. I'm not a perfect person in the gym 100%. So sometimes I might not go as deep as I should, or I might cheat a little. But that's just all a part of being human. Obviously, it's something that I'm trying to get out of my system because it's not good, especially for injuries and for muscle growth. But that is just something that I do. And the second thing I'd like to say is you'll be able to see that when I'm pushing it up, I'm keeping it straight to my shoulders. So for example, if there's a dumbbell here, I'm keeping it here like this, as you can see. And then when it goes down, I'm almost twisting it so it goes like this. Now, this might actually look a bit strange, but you kind of want it to get like here. Not to your nipples, but like to the right of your nipples, or left to the side of your nipples. So you want to put it there instead of going like this. And I'm only saying this because this, moving your elbows inwards like this, is going to prevent you from getting injuries on the front of your shoulder, just because the weight is shifted away from just your shoulder and onto the rest of your arm and even the kind of left side of your chest. And I think you can engage some of your back as well doing this. This just means you're going to be more comfortable doing it this way instead of just doing it like this. I guess also a third thing that I could say is people often do barbell bench press. That's like the most common one, the most popular one. The only reason why I do dumbbell bench press is for two reasons again, is because I can get a larger stretch. Imagine you have a bar, right? There's going to be a point where the bar will stop and it might hit your chest. Whereas with a dumbbell, you can go slightly further back because they're not connected to one another. In addition to that as well, I use the dumbbells because if you're using a bar, you can't go down like that because it's obviously straight. Yeah, really sorry about this angle. This is shocking. So the second exercise is tricep pull downs. This is a classic exercise that I've been doing for years. It's probably the best one for triceps, I would say 100%. So the benefits of this one is that you can engage the triceps really well, and because it's a rope, it gives you a more complete range of motion because you can kind of have both sides of the rope on the side of your body. And if you were to have a bar, for example, the middle of the bar will hit your torso, which will mean that you'll have a shorter range of motion. What I'll actually say about this set in particular, at least the first one, is I am actually engaging my back a little bit more than I would like to. I'm kind of doing the first initial movement and then I'm kind of cheating the rest of it by kind of bringing my shoulders back and bringing my elbows back. You want your elbows to stay locked at a certain point. This way you're not moving your back at all. This way you're only engaging your triceps. So in this second set, I actually act a lot more strict in terms of my form. I try not to move my back really at all and just leverage the elbows to make sure I'm only hitting the triceps. Another thing I would say about this particular exercise is I'm kind of bending over in this way because, so let's say you're against the cable machine, right? If the cable machine is here and I'm like this, right? There's going to be no pressure on my arms, you see, because not only will the weight probably be down at that point because I'm not really pulling it anymore, but it's not really stretching out my triceps anymore. This is kind of like a full body, like just like stay strong. There's no point in that. So if you actually bend over like this, you can see here if I'm going like this, right, it's just like more relaxed. Whereas if I'm like this and I've got some weight that is almost trying to pull my arms further up there, I'm going to get a larger stretch in that part of the motion, which also, if you watch the previous video, you'd be able to notice that that is the stretched part of the range of motion. That is also a really crucial part of building muscle and building strength. Third exercise, super standard, super easy, shoulder machine press. People can often trash on machine workouts because there is a point to be made that you don't use any like stabilizing muscles, for example. It's kind of quite concentrated on one part of the muscle. People also say that you get a worse range of motion, which I personally disagree with, but I personally just like doing this machine. It's easy to do. I can really focus on getting a good pump out of my shoulders without having to embrace my core or my back or anything. It kind of does 50 to 60% of the form for you, which I don't really have any problem with form for shoulder press anyway, but it's just easier. I would say again, keep on doing what I've said. Be quick on the up and then slow on the down. Make sure you're getting a good stretch when you're bringing that down. One of the things that I personally do with shoulder press is I make sure that the bottom of the seat is quite high up. Because if I'm doing a shoulder press, if I want to get a good stretch in my shoulders, I don't want to be starting here. Because there's no stretch there. There's no tension. There's no tension on this shoulder here. Whereas if I'm down like this shoulder is getting stretched. I can feel it right now. This shoulder's getting stretched and it's got tension on it. And then I can go up and then I bring it down. It's more range of motion. Exercise 4, we're looking at the same machine, but this time I'm doing a different exercise and working a completely different muscle. So this machine in particular has a almost adjustable seat at the bottom, so you can kind of push it this way, so then it's more right up and you can do shoulder press, or you can push it this way and it has more, it's more of an incline, so you can do chest press. So this is almost simulating a normal flat bench press. Again, because this isn't a bar, I'm able to get a little more range of motion by bringing it to the side of my body. Due to the angle of the handles, it means that I don't have to bring my hands away from this. So I'm still having my elbows quite close to the side of my body, just like how I would do with the dumbbell bench press. And in addition to that, it's just really easy and quick to do in terms of I can do the shoulders, go straight into the chest exercise, still get a really good pump, still get a good stretch. Another benefit of these machine exercises is that you can just solely focus on that muscle. So yeah, for this bench press, I'm just able to, you can just really focus on pushing that weight off of your chest, as opposed to when you're using a barbell, for example. There's a little bit more on your shoulders, or you're thinking about how you're going to rack it once you're done. Or maybe you don't go completely to failure because you don't have a spotter with you. So the fifth exercise is lateral raises. Now, if you're doing this for aesthetics or to look good at all, so if you're going to the gym for aesthetics, or if you're going to look good in any way, and if you want a more V taper, these are a must, like an absolute must. You can't not do these. So the ideal form of these would be for you to keep a kind of straight arm. You can kind of go to here and then just go like this. Try not to use your traps as well. You see a few people in the gym, they'll kind of go like this, like that. You're not really getting the ideal amount of stimulation in the side of your shoulder if you're going to do that. So ideally you want to just try and keep your kind of shoulders in the same place. Just go another one where you want to quickly explode upwards and then slowly down. In terms of this one, and when I've previously spoken about ego lifting and doing the form correctly, this one's kind of a double-edged sword, because for me personally, I cheat on this one quite often. I might use momentum in order to get the weight up and then try and keep it up there for as long as I can, just for it to come back down to get that burn in. With lateral raises, typically people would go for like 20 reps. I go for 20 reps, sometimes even for sets of 4, which gives an incredible burn. It does really blow up the side of your shoulders. Now, the side of your shoulders isn't a huge muscle, but it makes a huge difference to how you fit in clothes, to how you look in gym tops, to your physique overall. So in terms of ego lifting, you can do a little bit in terms of getting extra reps out, but you cannot ego lift with lateral raises in terms of weight. The biggest guy you know is probably doing this for like 12 kilograms or 14 kilograms. That's like the biggest guy you know. I was doing 6 kilograms for this for years and years and years. And only recently, as I've improved my diet, have I really been able to do any more than like 6 or 8 kilograms. I've moved on to 10 kilograms at this point, which is something that I'm actually really proud of, but definitely started like even 4, 5 kilograms because you're going to want to do it for a long amount of time. The amount of people who I've seen in the gym kind of, I don't know how to explain it, believe they're doing lateral raises with 20 kilograms is just, it makes me cringe. It makes me like annoyed seeing these people do this because they're not going to see anywhere near the amount of gains that they would see if they were using 8 kilograms and just doing it properly. Because they'll be like, they won't, like, don't get me wrong, I do this once I have like exhausted the muscle, right? So you do this. I do this once I've exhausted the muscle. Like, you kind of like press forward, like that. But then they'll be doing that. They'll be doing that with like 20 kilogram dumbbells, and it's stupid. They'll be going like 20 kilograms, like they've barely been able to get it off the rack, and they're like, hey, 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 hey. Just start with 6 kilograms. Now, the 6th exercise is another one that I'm gonna have to apologize for the camera angle. I don't know what I was thinking with this one. But I don't know what I was thinking with this angle. But so what this one is it's a tricep overhead press, or like a single armed skull crusher. I can't remember. But what it is talking about the stretch again. It's this here. So you go single-handed, of course. You can do it with double hands, but I do it single-handed. So you want your arm to be up in the air. You want to bring it down, and you want to bring it down to whichever point you feel like you're feeling the biggest stretch. So sometimes for me, it's like I've got my arm, I think here. Sometimes I feel the biggest stretch. Sometimes here. And you want to press it up, and then you want to move it slowly down. Press it up, slowly down. To be honest, this is actually one of the best tricep exercises that you can do. Now, this is because, again, you are in that stretched position with so much tension that your body just can't resist to break the muscle fibers down. You're in this stretched position right here, you see? It's stretching. I feel it right now. It's stretched, and then you go, whoosh, and you go slowly down. Now, for me personally, for whatever reason, sometimes I can do like 10 or 12 of these, and sometimes I literally can't do any. I think it's because I have two pull days that are slightly different to one another. But maybe on this particular pull day, I just couldn't do any. So I did a kind of stranger tactic, which was I just wanted to feel that stretch and feel that burn, and do the eccentric, which is what that part is called. Do the eccentric part, even though I knew I couldn't get it back up. So I was just utilizing a stronger muscle, which is my shoulder, in order to get it back up, and then just trying to resist the weight on the way down, still getting that stretch, not doing a full range of motion, only doing half, but still getting that stretch, still burning my muscle a little bit more. You can see I'm going like this, pushing it all the way up, and then I'm going like that. And then I'm putting it to the side, and then putting it up again. Also, for this training session, I hit 80.6 kilograms, which I'm very happy about. I kind of hit 80 consistently before Christmas, and then during the festive period, I kind of fell out of my habits in the gym. So I kind of went down to, like, my lowest was 78.4 or something. So I'm really happy to be back up to 80.6, especially within the space of, like, I think it's been a month. So that was that video. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a good day. Hopefully you're in the gym today. If you're not, then fair dues. If you're thinking about going to the gym, just stop thinking about it and just go if you can. You know, I know it's quite. I know, I know it's quite difficult to start. I think it's quite difficult to really start everything, to be quite honest. But I believe in you. Do you believe in me?